What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are doing good. Uh, yeah, market tiny day yesterday. Nothing really happened. But what's more exciting is we got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Albert. Good morning to Amy, Emily, Joe, Kevin, Lauren, Lucian, Marius. We got Rob. Good morning to you. Good morning to Tim, William, all my people out of YouTube land. We got Clarice. Good morning, first one in the chat. We got Hostel. Good morning to you. Bijal, good morning. Elsie Big Dream, we got in the house. Good morning to Ann Smith. Ray is in the house. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube just don't want to say nothing. Just gonna be an observer. It's okay. Still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, lightest volume of the year came in yesterday. Again, we talked about this yesterday, which might set us up maybe the volume starts to come in. I don't know if we get much worse, but big day on Monday. Usually you have a quiet inside day, nothing too crazy. It was a retest gap. We almost got down to the support, which is 573.31. So we got close to it. I think the low of yesterday was 573.69. So not too bad. We got held up by the resistance, broke through it once. Kind of in an interesting spot again where we're holding this 575.21 support for right now. You got a resistance right above you again. We hit that resistance yesterday, so if the bulls can wake up today. You got 575.96 as your resistance to break through, and that could get us a little bit of an extra push into 578.42. Again, we're still kind of playing off that beautiful gap from Monday. Rest day, I think continuations to play, but inside day, so I would expect maybe out of the gate a little bit of chop. Toward the end of the day, it got a little interesting. I know I was able to snag like a 2 hour trade on AMD at the very end of the day, and then I left like another 2 hours on the table. It just kept it just kept going on me. I was like, okay, whatever. But you had a good little rally at the very, very end of the day, but just very, very confined on uh on a lot of this. We got Qs. Let's see if there's any movement in the Qs for today. We got same thing. Really good gap on Monday. A little bit better. We said the Qs had a little bit more range on it yesterday. We didn't quite hit the top of that channel, so the Bulls had every chance in the world. There's not really much in the way. I guess you have a psychological number from the opening price of March 6th that we kind of got to close into. I do think that this does look like continuation. We do have an inside day. So again, if we get a little chop, you get a little pullback, look for 492.64, see if that could hold. That would take your next target on the Qs up to 495.60. If you could break through that, you got 497.25. I think if the SPY could break out and start hitting that target, if we could get above resistance on the SPY, I wouldn't target really this 495.60. I think I would have to push it to the 497.25 because it does look a little stronger than the SPY. So we'll see. Bitcoin, BTC, USD. I saw crypto was starting to push a little bit. Just kind of throwing in a little bit of a pennant pattern, flag pattern. Makes sense. The good news is you're above the 200. Bad news, you still got to battle through the 50 and the 100 EMA. So we're just kind of hanging out until we can get that next push. I thought there was something on the calendar for today for crypto and Trump. I thought that was today, but maybe I'm wrong on that. But I think you kind of just need either a few more days, build this pressure out, let this 200 start to curl up a little bit, and then if we get that breakout, we should get a decent little move, get through some of those moving averages. Next target on that one, bigger target at least would be 90,263, but it would be huge to reclaim that 90K mark once again. I see a couple tickers coming in. Let me know if you guys got some other ones you want to take a look at. Not really much news today. We had, I think, durable goods in the very early morning and nothing. Pretty much the market didn't care. So, MLGO, Micro Aljo. I don't know what in the world this is. So, technology packaged software company. Let's see. This company does no dividends. Yeah, I don't really know what this company does. It looks to me like a uh probably news-based pump. Longer term trend has been absolutely horrific. I don't think the price is up here. Yeah, we had multiple splits. So we had multiple 1 to 20. That's usually not a good sign when the split is this way as opposed to the other way. Um, but a little bit off the bottom again, if you know something about this company and you like it, historically it doesn't seem to perform too well, and it looks like you get these random little spikes on it, and then all of that ends up fading. I would think that this one probably does the same. So be careful on this one. I would assume kind of manipulated, and again, the trend is a massive downtrend on this one. But if it's got momentum in it, if it's got hype in it, it's got room to run. I mean, even yesterday you got up to 1948. If we're trying to hold on to some technical levels, look for like 1236 to hold. You're not too far off of it. So you do have some good risk to reward on it. And I think it's a pump stock. Yeah, just a day trade for sure. Yep, I understand that. Yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't get married to it. Yep, don't start planning that wedding reception. Maybe as a day trade. If it could get some room on it, but it seems pretty volatile. We got Chewy reported. Did Chewy report earnings yesterday? I think they did. They reported this morning. Good beat. So they came in with 2 cents higher on earnings per share, so they beat by 79%. They did come in with an extra 50 milli. Not a bad report from Chewy, and you do have a decent looking gap up. Most of this volume is probably due to on this candle, probably due to the earnings. The next one is there's a lot of bulls that did just step into this thing. You might have a little bit more room to go up though. I think if you get a pullback into like 35, I think at open there's probably some profit taking. We'll see. But I think if you could hold that 35.05 zone, your next immediate target probably takes you to 35.77, and I think you have about 35.97 on the agenda for today. If you get some bulls in here, I stretch target for me would be if we could get into, I'd even come a little lower, 36.95. That's the kind of room I think you need to run on this one to make it a good risk to reward on the trade. But yeah, let this one pull back a little bit. I think tight. You probably need a tight setup to really make it. I think you're really looking for a dollar in Chewy. I don't know how much more it can run. It does get the meme effect to it. I think Roaring Kitty posted some cats at one point in his life, and everybody's like, "Yeah, it's Chewy. It's been Chewy the whole time." I don't know. We got X with a good little breakout candle yesterday. Let's see. Do I love that close or indifferent on that close? I love the open. I will say that. The close was just okay. So we have to get this VPOC higher than 43.11. Maybe that happens today. Otherwise, you have a retest. I expect probably a pullback on this one. I would love to see maybe 43.08 hold, but a true retest could get down to like 42.89. Problem with 42.89 is you got to recapture that. You got to reestablish your bulls to get past this 43.11 zone. So again, see if it wants to pull back slightly. There's nothing holding this thing back at this point. I think you do have bigger targets of like $45.90. There's really zero volume to distract us on this one. I like it. I think it's got room. Would love to see maybe a high wave candle. I'll take a high wave at open. I think that'd be pretty sweet. It's a lot of consolidation for, I mean, essentially since March 2024 that we're finally starting to look like we're trying to break out. But yeah, some kind of pullback. That could be a good $2 move. Scoot that right on up. All right, we got Meta, META. Again, on a longer term picture, you did have a good bounce off that 200. Let me see if there's any volume here. I think I'd really want to see this thing start getting above 632.98. So we'll call it what did I say? 630. So 633, something above there. A little bit of a gap down from the close, still relatively inside day. I think I'm starting to draw some of these fibs on the chart. I don't know where I want to start this one. That's the problem. So if I start it where I really want to do, we have a lot more room in a bullish direction, which would be here. Something to that effect. We're only really getting into the 38% retracement. So if we're going to start from the high of this, I think you have next room into like 658.30. I think you got roughly about 66.77.80. Problem is if I start it from here, which is kind of the last little pivot, that's going to take us a good rejection off of that 50% retracement from yesterday. So it depends on how you want to view this thing. Otherwise, not as strong at open. Little gap down. I think trading wise, you don't have too much edge. If you're looking for some kind of resistance today, look for the VPOC of yesterday, so 627.20, and then probably support on this one for 622.33. You're above a bunch of moving averages. Really just have that 50 in the way, but I think that 200 has to climb a little bit higher. So maybe some chop on this one. Again, the fact that we are still all of this is happening above the 621 or 622 zone. I still like it in a maybe you get some continuation, bigger targets on this one. I think you get to like 640, 633, and then if we start breaking that, you got 658.50 on a swing trade. But today's edge, not huge. We'll get it up a little bit. We'll see if this one sells off, we'll be buyers. Otherwise, at open probably not as much. I got Apple AAPO. Apple opening right into that 200 EMA. Can we get a recapture above it? I don't know. I don't really have, besides that 200, we have a retest gap from yesterday. So maybe we reject this 200 at open. We pull back. You're looking for a buy spot somewhere around 223.43. The uh, the positive for the bulls, if we do start climbing above that 200, I don't really have anything else stopping us until 226.46. I think would be your next target. I think you had some decent volume on. Let's see. This candle was actually your most volume, so really good close yesterday. Yeah, get staying above this 220.76, but watch that 200. Might start to be setting up retest gaps. See if you get a little pullback first, or watch that 200 EMA on that one. Tessie, Tessie, what a crazy move toward the end of the day yesterday on this one. Again, it was okay, just hanging out. You had a good $30 move the day before. And then when this thing just started going, it started going, and it just did not stop. So this move from, I think you'd almost want to play this as a wave, see if you get a pullback into like 50% retracement of this somewhere, which maybe happened pre-market or currently maybe we're sitting there right now. Otherwise, yeah, we just went from 277.50 all the way up to 291. Little of that is after hours, but in a very short time, $20 move, or $12 move out of nowhere. Otherwise, let's do that fib. Let's throw that fib on. We'll see where we're at since we took off. I think we got essentially around here for our start. We'll throw our next higher level up here, and we are currently sitting at the 50% retracement. We almost got down to that 618, and maybe you want to start this pivot a little bit higher. Go from that hammer candle. Still didn't hit the 618 retracement, but fairly decent move right now for pre-market. This does look like a little bit of a head and shoulders. So see if this wants to come down a little bit more. I think the closer you can establish any type of position to, that's what we did. Yep. I see what we did. We got down into the developing VPOC that we broke out of. So still looks kind of healthy. You got one more from back here. That's going to hold us up. I kind of like it bullish. You're in an okay buy spot. Give me a candle at open. I hate the invert or the head and shoulders that are set up currently, but otherwise, I think you have a good move. Otherwise, if you start breaking, I think 283.03, you still have a little support that would get you back to like this 281.96, and then full on retracement would be 277. But I'm kind of thinking if we could get a break of like 285.44, that might be interesting. I'm gonna just throw a line there. That would be interesting, and I would love to see us get a little tiny lower, smaller. Let's see this one here. What if we throw a stop right around here? I kind of like it. It's about a $3 move almost. To get 1 R from here, that takes us back in this 288, 1.2, probably into that 290 zone. Wendy says, I like it a lot. Yeah, me too. I like it too. Keep in mind, it is for today where we're opening, it is a gap down. This is where I'll reference everything. But if you have, I mean, if we don't get filled on that setup, we don't ever kind of break out. Your next actual target, which we did not hit in live market, we've hit this one now in after hours, but 290.21 would be your next target. And then if we could get past that, you do have your 200 right around the corner. And then I got 297.98. So there is some room to the higher side. Inside day candle loses a little bit of an edge. So we don't want to get too crazy, and you had two pretty solid days on this one. Otherwise, yeah. All right, let's see. We got RTX. RTX. Great day yesterday. Fantastic close. I like it a lot. I think, are we at all-time highs? We are. So all-time highs, I got no targets except for higher. But it is a retracement gap. Is two again 2 days pretty bullish. I think the closer you can get a bounce off of this 135.27, the better. But fantastic close. This is where you want to see that VPOC get higher than those previous pivots. We did that yesterday. We also came back. We had a retest. I like RTX in a bullish direction. If you're buying it here, you're buying everybody else profit. So keep in mind, literally anybody that purchases stock any other day, except for this open, would be profitable at the moment. So maybe get a little pullback in there, but I think the longer term, good move on that one. I got Dell, and then I see GameStop on the list too. We got Dell is hasn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Dell's problem is. What's your problem, Dell? What's your issues? We've had a really good run in the market as of late, last couple days. This one has tried to rebound, but nowhere close to. I mean, we're still relatively close to the 52-week lows. Right now, it looks like we are kind of getting rejected by the 20 EMA. A lot of things went green yesterday, and not so much Dell. I think we're opening at a little bit of support. Yesterday's VPOC, that should be somewhere around 98.83. You had really good volume on this candle. I think today probably get the continuation to the downside. About look for some kind of support at 97.74. I think that's a much stronger support. So let's see if we come back and retest this bad boy. If we could do that, maybe Dell wants to finally set up and play nice, but kind of looks still a little bit to the weak side for that one. Let's go with Lucian wants to know what the AMD play was. Yeah, I'll see if I still have my lines on my chart. GameStop did report earnings, and the good news, it looks like they did sell at least one game, which is fantastic. They sold one. That's all they have to do. But they beat by earnings per share by 22 cents, so 275%. So that's a solid beat. Not so much on the revenue portion of things. They still missed by $194 million of revenue. Maybe they had to sell two games. That's probably what they had to do. But you have GameStop, good gap up. Again, watch the momentum on this thing. Anytime you've been in this $30 range before, you've gotten kind of smacked down. You've had not so much yesterday of a buying day, but you've had a little run up into it. Look for a big support around 27.67. So if you're trying to play this long, if you want to join Roaring Kitty and the craziness, that's where you're looking to buy. Should get you decent risk reward. If you start breaking down on this one, from that point, then you might have a full-on retracement or probably plays out over the next couple days, but that would get you back down to like this 25.62 zone. Otherwise, earnings per share, great. Yep. They spent it all on Bitcoin. Yeah, I know. Uh-huh. Yeah. Let me see. Lucian says, was this your AMD play? It was very close to it. I tried it twice. The first one I was like a break even. I tried it with Lauren, and that was actually over in this zone, and we almost hit targets immediately. So we were playing something like this, and I think we had for me at least, I had my targets up here. So I got my stops up on this one to break even. This one, very close to this one. My target was actually 114. I'm not sure exactly where my entry was, but I think it was a break somewhere right around where you have your entry on that one. And then I think my stop was a little bit lower, so I think my stop was somewhere around. Let's see, do I have it on my sheet still? Day trading sheets. Let me see. I don't have it on my sheet anymore. Yeah, yeah, but it was something like that. I was trying to be a little more generous with my stop, so it was somewhere around here. I think, yeah, my entry was 113.07, I believe. So that would take me somewhere here. I forget my exact stop, but I think it was like 112.80, something like that, 112.73. But yeah, this was my 2R target, and I was like, okay, come on, we could do it. We got there, and then we just screamed up where 115 would have got me another pretty much 2 hours on that trade, but just rampaged. All right, let's see what else we got. We got APP. Today, a little bit of a gap down. I don't think the Bears are absolutely terrified on this one. You do still have good support. I think looking for targets around 336.42. The good news for the Bears is you did hit that, so if you got down there again, a little bit more likely to break it. You've also had a good bounce off of bigger volume, which is 332.09. So as long as we stay above that 332.09, I think Bulls are still okay with everything. You still have that momentum, still driving the stock, which is good. But maybe a breather. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. It's done a lot of work. We got into that big resistance up here. So I think if you're trying to short this one, we'll give you the short side of things. If you do get a bounce essentially into yesterday's VPOC, that's also lining up with a good resistance from back on March 3rd. So that would be your spot to either look to sell some covered calls. Maybe if you're thinking this thing comes down again, maybe that's where you want to buy some puts. If you get closing above this level, you don't have much in the way of a solid run to like 383.47. So for today, I think it's no action. I'm not really in the bear camp on it. I think this is a gap that probably ends up closing eventually, but usually this is our first attempt into trying to break out of this resistance. So if we hang out here for a day or two, chop around, and then I think that would be your next break. Maybe you see a bigger pullback. I kind of don't want to see that, but into this almost 310 zone, and then maybe get your break to finally get some of these bulls to take some of their gains before the next push. But a little choppy for now. All right, Fubo DM is just going is bullish. Let's see. Let's see if I concur. Fubo TV. So for day trade purpose, I'm gonna disqualify it because it is under $5. As a prior user, and I'm gonna put an asterisk next to that one. I have been a Fubo customer before. The wild thing is I've never paid them a single penny in my life. So yeah, they do like a free trial, and then usually on my daughter's birthday, which is we usually have it on like a Sunday. I also don't want to miss the game, so I hook up like a TV in the garage, and then it's a good way to stream the games that I want to watch during events. So I usually just sign up for that week. I like the service, but then I cancel. I don't really understand the purpose of Fubo. I get it, but the pricing is like, why not just have cable or keep cable? Like, or YouTube TV, I think is probably even coming in a little cheaper than Fubo, unless although YouTube TV, I think their pricing has gone up too. So I think it gives a good cost or way to cut the cable. But if you're cutting the cable because you just don't want to spend all that money on TV and don't need the channels, all you're doing is just switching your actual cable to streaming, and you're still in the same boat you were before. That being said, chart wise, yeah, I that was good close yesterday. Fantastic close. I don't like that their customer base is me that doesn't pay them any money. I don't know. But Clarice says I actually love Fubo. It's like TV for TV of old with commercials. But then Clarice says I don't pay for it at all. How? Besides the seven, I haven't figured out if you could tell me how to get it without the 7 day trial for free, then I'm in. Although I will short the stock heavily if there's a solution to that. But really, really good close. I agree. Look for some kind of push, maybe back to like this 357 zone on this one. And then we'll see what happens from there. Long term, I'm not sure. They might need a partnership. They might need someone. This looks like we had a stock split somewhere. 'Cause yeah, these stock price was like up in the 80s or something at one point. Yeah, this is not usually the most bullish chart. So we did have a 1 to 30 split back here. So there was a split involved. But yeah, that's not the most bullish chart. Maybe longer term is good. I like the service. I think the quality of the service is great. But there's a couple of red flag for me on Fubo for a long-term investment. But I think you can get a little bit out of this one. A little bit into that 357 zone. I got AVGO. I was looking at that one earlier, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's acting very, very strong. The good news for bulls, it's still above that 200. You want to stay there. Otherwise, for today, I kind of like it as a short. Probably not at open, but we are below all previous VPOCs. You do have some room down on this one. You're gonna be messed with on that 200 probably, but slightly underneath it is the actual first retest spot that takes us to about 182.70, 71. I think this is a good opportunity for a short on AVGO if we can get some buying that comes in, or some short covering from the last 2 days of people shorting it. But if you can get some kind of rebalance in this one to like 188.26, I think that would be an interesting spot for us to go look for a short today. And then you have about $6 to the downside, $6 to the downside, something like that. But we will see. If it doesn't, if this is one of those stocks where if it doesn't close bearish today and we actually start rallying, that would actually be a good sign that maybe there's a little bit of a bottom, and that would get you your kind of your next momentum to push you higher. But right now, at open at least, it looks a little bit to the weak side. No payment required. Yeah, that's a good business model. No payment required. SMCI, I see on the list. Let's see if we can cover this one real quick before that bell. Right now, it's doing nothing, which is not a bad thing. It's just not doing anything. And I think we're kind of just range bound for today until we're not. The not part comes when we have clarification. We got to get above 42.75. So give me a close above that. I like it bullish. Otherwise, anything is starting to close below 39.11. I like it to the bearish side. Otherwise, right now it's just kind of chop city. Other than that, everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you guys have not done so already. But that was the morning bell. So unfortunately, we got to wrap it here. You guys are incredible. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.